snakes on his shoulders, 1,000 years of terror, until a blacksmith said, "No more." Kaveh the Blacksmith is one of the most beloved figures in Persian mythology. A common man, not a warrior or prince, who stood up against a millennium of tyranny and ignited a revolution. His opponent Zahak is Persian mythology's greatest monster. A king with serpents growing from his shoulders that demanded human brains to eat, whose 1,000-year reign terrorized the world. Kaveh's leather apron, raised as a flag, became the Kaviani banner, the royal standard of Persia through empires, decorated with jewels but always remembering its origin as a working man's garment. The story represents the power of ordinary courage against absolute evil. The tyrant Zahak had been a righteous prince once, but the evil spirit Ahriman came to him disguised as a cook. After preparing delicious meals, Ahriman asked a single reward: permission to kiss Zahak on both shoulders. Where his lips touched, serpents grew. Living snakes attached to Zahak's body, impossible to remove. For 1,000 years, 2 young men died daily, until their fathers could bear no more. The serpents were always hungry. If not fed, they caused Zahak unbearable agony. And they would eat only one thing: human brains. Every day, 2 young men were sacrificed to feed the king's cursed shoulders. For 1,000 years, this continued. A reign of terror unlike any the world had known. Zahak conquered everything, killed the rightful king, and ruled with fear so absolute that no one dared oppose him. The serpents consumed generations. Families kept their sons hidden. The world groaned under Zahak's evil. Prophecy said that a prince named Feridun would eventually overthrow him, so Zahak hunted for Feridun constantly, killing any child who might be the prophesied liberator. Feridun was hidden in the mountains, raised in secret, waiting for the moment when someone would begin the revolution he could complete. The blacksmith Kaveh was a blacksmith in the capital, a common craftsman, strong from his work, father of 18 sons. 17 of those sons had already been fed to Zahak's serpents. Now the soldiers had come for his 18th, his last. "I will not sign this lie," and 1,000 years of silence ended. Kaveh went to the palace to petition the king. It was hopeless, everyone knew. Zahak had never spared anyone, but what could a father do but try? He found the court assembled, nobles signing a document praising Zahak's just and righteous rule. The document was passed to Kaveh for his signature. Something broke in him. He looked at the false praise, he thought of 17 sons, he looked at the monster on the throne with living serpents demanding his last child. And the fear that had paralyzed everyone for 1,000 years left him. "I will not sign this lie," Kaveh declared. "Every word is false. You are not just. You are a demon who feeds on our children. I have lost 17 sons to your serpents, and you will not have my 18th. He tore the document to pieces before the stunned court. The banner. Kaveh stormed from the palace, and remarkably, no one stopped him. Perhaps the guards too had lost sons, perhaps Zahak was too shocked to react, perhaps the moment demanded its hero. Kaveh took his leather blacksmith's apron, tied it to a spear, and raised it as a flag. A blacksmith's apron became a nation's flag, because one man refused to be afraid. "Who will follow me?" he called in the streets. "Who has lost sons, brothers, fathers to the serpent king? Who will fight for Feridun, the true king, hidden in the mountains? Who will end this 1,000-year nightmare?" They came. Fathers who had lost children, young men who feared being next, soldiers who had followed evil orders too long. The crowd grew as Kaveh marched through the capital, growing from dozens to hundreds to thousands. The leather apron, a working man's garment, stained with forge fire, flew above them as the first flag of revolution. They marched to Mount Damavand, where Feridun had been hidden since infancy. The prince saw the leather banner, saw the army of common people ready to fight, and knew the prophecy was being fulfilled. He took command. The revolution had its leader, but Kaveh had provided the spark. The victory Feridun led the people's army against Zahak. The tyrant who had terrorized the world for a millennium found his power crumbling, soldiers deserting, nobles defecting, his own fear making him weak for the first time. The serpents on his shoulders could not protect him from a nation's anger. 1,000 years of terror ended, because a blacksmith refused to be silent. They met in battle. Feridun, wielding a mace given him by Kaveh, fought Zahak personally. The tyrant was captured, but the prophecy forbade killing him, his blood would release demons. Instead, Feridun imprisoned Zahak forever in a cave in Mount Damavand, where he remains to this day, bound until the end of time. Kaveh's leather apron was preserved, decorated with jewels, and became the Kaviani banner, the royal standard of Persia through the Sassanid Empire and beyond. Dynasties rose and fell, but they all claimed legitimacy by association with Kaveh's flag. The working man's garment had become the most precious symbol of Persian royalty. Every year, the anniversary of Zaak's overthrow was celebrated as a festival. Kaveh, not a prince, not a warrior, but a blacksmith who lost his children, became the symbol of righteous rebellion against tyranny that Persia has honored for millennia.